Okay, we're here at the hive. We're going to do another full inspection. It's been a couple of weeks since I put the last box in the last video. Got my smoker here. It's the middle of the day, even though the sun is gone behind the house there. Gloves ready to go, smoker ready to go, tool ready to go. So let's just open it up and see what we can see inside. Hopefully today we'll be able to see a healthy hive, some eggs. Would be nice to see some eggs. We'll try to find the queen, but you know I've never actually seen the queen. Just evidence of her activity. We're going to look at those drone cells that were there the last time we checked and see what's up with all that, and whatever other magic we can find. So let's have a look. Get the lid off there and put that down. And give them a little bit of smoke to get them off the... I see a lot of brace comb attaching the top here to the, I guess, second top. Not really much going on there. I'm going to try to get them both together so we don't have to deal with that right now. Just like that. Covered in bees, of course, which is great. We'll put them down as well. Yeah, a lot of brace comb in between these frames, which is good. They were new when we put them on just a few weeks ago. Some of them were populated with honey. Some of them were empty, were for the bees to make comb out of. So let's just pull them out one at a time and see what we can see. We're going to end up having some of that comb. Sorry, ladies. Again, just to make it a little easier to get at. First one's always the toughest one to get out because they're packed in there so tight. And of course the bees have them braced to the sides and to the bottom, I'm assuming. So let's try to get that out. Now this is one that had some honey in it previously. So we're just going to take it out and have a look and see what the bees are doing. Lots of honey in these frames. Some of it capped, some of it not. Big drone wandering around, which is interesting. Just put that down there. Where did he go? There, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but right there is a rather large fella. And we'll look at the other side. Again, lots of nectar and lots of capped honey, which is great. Good to see. We're going to put this guy down so we can look at the rest of them. I'm going to see if I can put it down in front of the hive. Sorry, ladies. See if it'll stay there. If not, it'll fall down and we'll be in trouble. Let's get the second one out here. Again, lots of honey in these frames, which is good. But they put lots of brace comb in between the frames. Instead of pulling comb on the next frame, the third frame, the first white one here, they seem to have expanded this guy. Let me see if I can lift it out. It's pretty heavy. Just a little difficult to get purchase on there. Wow. Really tough to get this one out. assume that's because they've welded it to the bottom there, to this other frame. That and the fact that it's pretty, like I said, pretty heavy. Seem to have it loose there now. There we go. There's some brood on here. Lots of bees, obviously. You can see some brood on there as well. Lots of honey on this. No eggs on that frame. But as I suspected it's braced all the way down there. So we'll put that one back. Calm them down a little bit. I have a feeling this is going to be a rather interesting inspection. And by interesting, I mean the bees are going to get extremely agitated with me. Now they're pulling comb on this side a little bit, which is great. Just for honey by the looks of it though. Nothing extraordinary there. Here's another one that they've kind of welded together, which is unfortunate from an inspection perspective. We'll see if we can part them. And lift them out. Okay, again, all honey in these frames. Lots of activity on those frames, but all honey. And again, on this side, nothing, right? They're not, they started to build comb, but it's more attaching it to the one beside, which I find is interesting. Unfortunately, I wish they would build their own comb. I guess this one will tell us what they're doing. Yeah, see, they're building a comb. I don't know if you can see it in here. There's a little gap. They're kind of building their own, doing their own thing here, which is okay, but I like a more regular shaped comb. You can see some larvae there that when I took the two pieces apart, that they've split, and unfortunately those guys won't survive. But larva is good. That means the queen is laying and the bees are hatching. And if you have any suggestions on what I can do with those types of frames, ones that look like that are kind of irregular shaped and not very well formed, just leave it in the comments. I'd be really interested in your opinions, those that are more experienced than I, about what to do there. Do you scrape that off? Do you just let it go and see what the bees do by themselves? Here's one of the empty frames that I had in there before, and again, it's still empty. The bees are not using that frame at all, but rather the ones beside. Again, your advice on what I can do about that would be appreciated. This one's going to be packed, I think, full of honey. Come on guys, off my basket. Off, off, off. We'll go with the next one here. Again, this one's going to be super heavy. I can see the bees all over it. Again, there's some cells at the bottom there that had some larvae in them. A lot of nectar in these ones. And on this side, a lot of honey, not yet capped. No brood though on those ones, none at all. Stick that back in there. And the next frame. Honey, honey, honey. And lots of it. Both sides. All honey in those frames. Which is fine. It's good. They need the honey. They like the honey. Not super full though. Let's see if we can get this last one out on this side. Again, this is one that was full of honey previously. And it's still chock full of capped honey. The bees are adding to the few empty cells that are there, but other than that, just a honey cell. So interesting, the top box here, full of honey. There was that first frame I saw that had some brood on it, just a little bit though. And there was one frame in here that had nothing on it. I think because how tight it is in here, I might just remove that one. And I'll put in that other full one that we had previously. Unfortunately, some brood got, some larvae rather, got squished or separated or split because of what I've been mucking about with here. But healthy nonetheless. Alright, let's put this guy back so that hopefully these guys can be happy again. And there, lots of room in there. I had put an extra frame, if you remember the last video, I had put an extra frame in there just because it seemed to fit, but the way that they're building these out, it doesn't actually seem to fit when it's full. So again, your advice on what to do there, how to manage that situation, what's the right thing to do with those that comb that seems a little bit irregular on the frame. We're going to try to lift this box up so we can have a look at the other box. And we're just going to put it down here. I have a brace down here I can rest it on while we inspect the first box. Again, you can see on here all of the brace chrome that the bees have done. I'm just going to scrape that off. I don't want these boxes attached to one another. Put it off into the pile there. Just makes it difficult to inspect. Makes it difficult to lift some of the frames out. But maybe it's because the bees don't have any room in there, right? Maybe that's what some of you will come back and tell me. It does look rather full. I mean, there's some frames there that don't have any activity in them or on them. So I'm a little leery about saying, yeah, the hive is full. Let's get the super on there at this point, because I just don't know. Let's have a look at some of these other frames here. You can see how much I got a little bit more room in these ones. It might be a little easier to get, but let's give them a little smoke. Let's give me a little smoke, see if they'll get off me. Just calm them down a bit. But as you can see, lots of activity in the hive. They're not short on numbers. Let's see what we can find here on these frames. If I remember correctly, the outside frames were all honey. Ideally here we'd see some brood, some honey. I'd love to see some eggs. Nothing on this frame. There's some honey here. This is one I think I have to put down so that I can get at the rest. A little easier. I'd love to see some eggs at some point. That looks like, you tell me, that looks like nectar, that looks like brood. Good, healthy stuff happening there. A couple of drones on there. One. Okay, one. I saw one and I said a couple. Oh, there's one on that side. 2, 3, 4 on that side. But that looks like a good frame, brood. Let's see what's on this first white one here. Again, pretty good brood pattern, I think. Just looking at the bees there. I don't see a queen on that side. Again, good pattern. Lots of nectar. I don't see a queen on that one. Maybe you do on the camera. But again, good pattern. Some brood, not a lot. Well, maybe you can tell me if it's a lot or not. Excuse me, ladies. Lots of activity in the hive today. Again, a couple of brood cells there, lots of nectar. No queen there. There's some more of those big fat cells. Is it usual for them to still make brood at this point? What about that guy down the bottom there? What does that look like to you? Again, to my eye it looks like a drone cell, but my eye is far from practice. These are the frames. The last time we were here, we saw those irregular shaped cells on, and they were drone cells, I was told. And there's a brood pattern, some more drones. And again, at the bottom there, what's that guy there? More drone cells? Are they making queens? What are they doing there? Anyway, let me know in the comments if you know anything. Lots of nectar and some brood. Not as heavy, these frames, because of course they're not filled with honey. They're just filled with their own. Lots of brood in here. You can see the larvae in the cells. I'm going to try to get the camera. Maybe you can see. Can you see the larvae in the cells at the bottom there? Interesting. And on this side, oh, lots of brood on that side. Holy. That's great. A couple drones on this frame. You can see I can count maybe half a dozen or so. Again, is that normal for this time of year? Lots on that one though. Lots of brood. Okay, they're all swarming on the top there. I'm going to give it a little more smoke. 2 more to go. We'll take 2 out, have a look at them. Thankful for this bee jacket, that's for sure. The way they're swarming around now. The last frame right against the wall there, I think, was full of honey last time. So It might be a little heavier. See nothing on there, just bees doing their thing, cleaning, whatever. Not much on that one though in terms of either brood or honey. And on this side it's all a little bit of honey. And not much else. Lots of activity here on this side. I believe this was a honey frame previously, so it's probably, yeah, it's heavy. So it's full of honey. Both sides. Both sides full of honey. No brood. But again, nothing irregular about that one either. Just honey and good time. So it was just that one frame. Two frames, I guess. These two last white ones. I'm going to get them up to the camera so you can have a look. Nice brood pattern there. A couple of regular cells down near the bottom. And on this side again, brood pattern. Pretty good. Some drones. And again, a couple of irregular ones down at the bottom of the frame here. But other than that, nothing out of the ordinary. And then this one was full of weird cells, right? On this side, had a bunch at the bottom there. Had that one in the middle, far side, away from me. Don't know what that is. Did not see a queen. Did not see a whole lot of eggs. Here's the other side of that one. So you can see a lot of activity and a lot of new honey in those upper frames. But apart from that, you know, you tell me what you saw. I got a full one of honey coming in, drop in here. Right in there with all those bees. Which is good. So overall, you know, from my perspective, there's lots of brood there. There's lots of honey there. The bees seem to be rather active, as you can tell. But I have to make a decision what to do with those wacky frames that I saw earlier, where the bees were just building comb in irregular patterns. What do I do with those? My instinct is to remove them and replace them with new frames in hopes that the bees will build more regular shaped comb on those. That's my instinct. Could be vastly wrong. Sorry ladies if I squished 100 of you. I apologize. But yeah, I mean these frames in the middle here. What do you do with that? I mean, you can see the bees are on both sides of it. They've got some, what looks like brood, capped brood in there. You can see the larvae inside. I've actually opened some of the cells to see the larvae. So they're doing the right things in there, but the comb is just everywhere. And that's not super cool, right? So what do I do with that guy? What do I do with this guy? This side looks okay to me. It's getting honey put in it. This side is the other side of what they were building between. Not normal, irregular shape, and it's really just supporting what they're doing on that black colored frame. Thankful for the suit, but it's pretty hot. Okay, so I'm going to button it up, leave them there, let them go, and wait for your comments on what you think I should do with those top two frames, and if you saw anything that maybe wasn't cool, wasn't normal, and maybe something I should look deeper at. Okay, ladies, move along. As we put this all back together. Okay, we're just going to leave this frame out here. This is the empty one that I took out. We're just going to leave it here so the bees can find their way back into the hive. You can see that the hive is a lot more people, a lot more bees outside than inside, based on the activity, which I think is normal. Gives a nice look to it. We'll get some pictures of that before we sign off today. But there was a full inspection. I think they're filling up nicely. Some questions that I have are, one, did you see enough bees in there that it's time to put the super on? Two, what do I do about those irregular shaped frames where they're just building comb between the two frames as opposed to aligned with the frame? And three, did you see anything in those two frames on the bottom box there with respect to the cells that were being built, the size or shape of them, that at this time of year I should be concerned with? The research I did after the last video said building drone cells is normal. Obviously the queens, new queens in the season, have to mate with somebody, and it's those drones that they mate with. But at this point it's early July here in southwestern Ontario. So is that normal for this time of year? Should I be concerned? Should I do anything about it? Or did you see a normal, happy, healthy hive? So those three questions I would love your feedback on.